So today we have our Salesforce team with us, and also our MD David with us as well.
Good morning.
So thank you for joining.
My pleasure.
We are here today to obviously talk about the Salesforce team. Obviously, you've had an amazing year despite what has been going on in the world. And I think first of all, it'd be great to have you all introduce yourselves.
Amy start. Hey, I'm Hemi Sabharwal. I'm the Salesforce Recruitment Team lead. Started at MA 2.5 years ago. Been in Salesforce for over 6 years now. And yeah, loving every minute of it. It's been a great journey so far, and still more to come.
So I'm one of our global headhunters, I guess you could say, for the Salesforce recruitment practice. I've been here for about a year and a half. I touch a few different markets across Europe and North America. But yeah, Hemi brought me over from Toronto to Barcelona about a year and 7 months ago, the day almost.
And we have to say that currently, what time is it at now?
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. in Toronto at the moment. So it's a time I think where we've been able to find, coincidence between Europe and North America for the podcast. But cool.
Yeah, no, dedication there.
And he looks fresher than I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My name is Karagyozyan. I'm part of the team that joined Hemi immediately after I saw what he's doing, because it was a great opportunity to grow in an environment which is so supportive. I really enjoyed what Salesforce is all about. And being helped by Hemi to grow into that ecosystem, I feel it's the right place for me to be and grow even more.
And then finally, obviously, David, I've obviously introduced yourself, but it'd be great to just have an intro from you. And for those that don't know MA very well or haven't heard of us before, could you give us a little introduction to MA?
Of course. So, I mean, with me, you said it all. I'm David Thuillier. I'm the CEO of Montreal Associates, now called MA. We have been on the market since 1978. Always in technology, always in staffing. Our founders started the company with a view that recruitment should be all about honesty. And I think that was based on their past experiences. So that was the main idea, really. And also why technology? Because they felt that exciting stuff was happening between humans and computer science. And they started in 1978. I think, if I keep it short, the journey of the company was then about specialism. Our founders quickly recognized that we were an SME. We were not big enough to be fighting on all fronts. So the approach was to be specialist and to grow vertical markets within IT and tech. The first market was SAP. That was the first big success of the company as far as specialism is concerned. MA was one of the pioneers in staffing on SAP in Europe. I was part of that fantastic venture. So, as much as these three are Salesforce specialists and live and breathe Salesforce, I did my early career on SAP. And on the back of the success we've had on SAP, we started introducing more verticals. And we're talking of Salesforce today, actually CRM and BI were the next moves for the company. It was an obvious move because we were partners to most of the SAP implementation partners who are also heavily involved in implementing CRM and BI solutions. So obviously, when you start doing CRM today, you do Salesforce. It took us a bit of time to really get fully onto the Salesforce market, but it was quite a natural move. And today we also cover verticals such as a big one, which is infrastructure and cybersecurity, software development, and we have a Microsoft practice as well. So you can check more on our website if you wish. I won't bore you too long with that. We are a European player who has recently started, and we have Maurizio today, who's a North American, started supporting customers in North America. So we are, I would say, big in Europe and small in North America, but we have ambition there. And I think the second point is just to say that maybe our purpose is to connect curious people.
So I guess seeing as we've now brought us up to speed with the company, it'd be good to hear your stories about your journey into MA.
Ooh, where do we start? It was a bit of a weird one for me. I started recruitment in the UK from sunny Manchester, as people may hear from the accent. I got into Salesforce quite early, and it was a great market at that time because it was still quite premature, but you could see the massive growth that was about to come over the next 5 years. After doing a few years in the UK, I really wanted to broaden our horizon in Salesforce and take it Europe-wide and hopefully globally. Montreal was growing at that time. I remember meeting David in London, and it just seemed it was the right time for both of us. For me to grow and to expand that Salesforce offering, but for Montreal as well to really expand into other areas and other specialisms. So I think for me it was definitely a learning curve, but it's obviously easy having a great team and having a good company that supports you and lets you do things your way. And I think now that we're fully immersed in the ecosystem, it's great to see us just continue to grow. And like you said, with people like Maurizio in North America and America, who knows? Who knows where MA ends up next?
Yeah, and I guess that plays into then how you obviously helped grow the team to now have Maurizio and Alice by your side.
Yeah, I mean, from my side, I've been in recruitment probably since I finished uni, actually 4 or 5 years ago, or almost 6 years ago at this point, I believe. And right from there, starting in recruitment, I worked for like one of the biggest North American recruitment companies in tech that you could possibly work for. But the one thing that I think wanted was more of like an international exposure to portfolio where, one day I could be working on this in this country and another day I could be working on that in this country. And when Hemi brought me over and I started working the German market and helping sort of build that out, that kind of naturally just came through some of the clients we worked with that not only needed support locally, but in a few other countries. And that sort of helped us develop the portfolio we have today that has led me to put basically a lot more focus on North America, where I came from. But I think that, to me, what we've been able to build as far as like a global oversight on an ecosystem, that what happens in one place clearly affects another, that's something that I think is super unique to our team. And what's been so hard, but also so fruitful in what we've been able to build is exactly that. Like, there have been days where in the morning we're on the phone with, candidates or clients in Southeast Asia. And then end of day, throughout, the middle of the day working Europe, at the end of the day, we're speaking with people in, Canada or the States. Like, it's like a wild ride of a day, but to me, I don't know, like they can probably answer for themselves, but that's a big part of why I still do what I do after all this time, 100%. And I think being in Salesforce only I can't find the right word, maybe accelerates that or puts energy into that because it's so global. So yeah.
Alice, what do you think?
Well, I got into recruitment maybe almost 9 years ago now. I've always been in IT before that, in the different side, on the opposite side, I would say, probably. But then I moved to Barcelona and I did an MBA and I got into recruitment. I was working for a smaller boutique consultancy specializing in SAP, but then at one point it wasn't enough for me. I met David. He talked so passionately about MA and what they're doing, and I thought that's the right step for me to go forward. Initially, I continued with SAP and some other techs, but fortunately, a few months later, Hemi joined, so it was an easy decision for me when I was invited to work with him. I've seen what he's done in the past, and I saw a lot of opportunity coming up in the Salesforce market, not only in UK but globally. I had experience working in UK before, so it wasn't completely unknown to me. But I had the opportunity to work now as Mao mentioned, really all over the world. Of course, mainly our focus has always been Europe, but knowing that we are encouraged to open other markets too, it makes it very exciting.
Definitely. And David, I guess it would be good to hear from your perspective what it's been like to see the Salesforce team grow with a.
Well, first, as both Alice and Hemi mentioned, I had the chance to take part in the interviewing and selection process, and I remember meeting Alice before we had the office in Barcelona, so we had to meet in a bar. Yeah, we had a tea surrounded by people having beers. And with Hemi, yes, that was in London, indeed, because you were flying from Manchester to visit your customers, and I was one of your visits apparently. And I will never forget that encounter either. With Hemi, I felt like I was being pitched Salesforce. We were looking for Salesforce recruiters, but the way he was talking to me with such passion was really he was selling to me a Salesforce division. Yeah, that would be global, and he had prepared his figures. I wouldn't say it was a business plan, but that was a sales pitch, a real sales pitch, and he was full of admiration for Salesforce as a product, as a company, as an ecosystem. Really passionate about it, and quoting me lots of figures. I remember.
It came to fruition, David.
That was very convincing. You actually didn't need to do that much because we were looking to grow the Salesforce market, but you did really well. I will always remember. I think for us, the first exposure to Salesforce, you can tell from my accents probably that I'm French. And before I got into my current role, I was part of the original French team when MA started France. So my first exposure to Salesforce was with our SAP implementation partners who were asking us, do you do Salesforce? No, you should. You should. They were all investing at the time. So we started doing a bit of Salesforce, but to be fair, nowhere near what we're doing today, and not with as much focus, because initially Salesforce recruitment was done by SAP recruiters. So we were doing that on the side, really. So we've had opportunities on that market. That was my first exposure, and then I think that since Hemi really joined, we have invested in Salesforce, in our capacity first, hiring talents, and also in building a talent pool, or what I prefer to call a talent river, and finding diamonds, the Salesforce diamonds that our clients are all looking for, desperate to find. And as you said, Kate, I think this year, ironically, probably one of the most testing years of the decade for many companies, including for us. This team has had their best results. They delivered fantastic growth. We have three of them today, the ambassadors of the team, I would say. But the team is growing, and their results individually and collectively are absolutely fantastic. So they're probably on the right market, but I think they're doing the right thing as well. And we are gaining market shares, every month. I think there's not a month without us gaining market shares in the UK, in Germany. We've been talking about North America, and we are currently making plans, and I have started investing as well in Southern Europe, with obviously France, but also Italy and Spain, to keep growing and building a network of talent and customers that, as Maurizio was saying, we want to be global. I think one thing I discussed once with Maurizio is that he worked for a bigger company than MA. And, the bigger you grow and the more you're dictated by local P&Ls. And it's not the case for MA. We have headquarters in London. We have an office in Barcelona. The rest is satellite, stuff. And we can be global from inception for every team, which I think makes it exciting from what we heard from those three.
That's what Salesforce is kind of is though as well, right, Mal? I think Salesforce is one of those ecosystems where you can connect talent globally, and you know people from the MVPs to the Hall of Famers to the Trailblazers, and I think for us to be able to connect candidates globally for our clients, whether they're SIs, whether they're Salesforce themselves or end users, that's the beauty of it. And I think COVID was a game changer, where you could have people work remotely from America, depending on the time zone, supporting people in Europe. And I think that gives us a lot of opportunity, a lot of leverage, and I think it gives candidates and our clients a lot more to offer as well. And that's what
yeah, and it's not even like a perception, like we've actually done this. Like I have a woman interviewing this week from Toronto with a company in Bavaria. Maybe she'll go there for a bit, maybe she'll do a bit back and forth, whatever it may be. It's very fluid and very open at this point. We've placed people from one continent to another, people who wanted to move, people who wanted a bit of remote. Like it's very, very a conversation, I would say, to be had almost each and every time. And again, if you're only focused on this one small city, right, doing this one technology, again, your reach is only going to go so far. What you can offer will always have some kind of limitations. But with a global interconnected team, there's really no limits of what you can deliver and what opportunity you can provide. To me, that's like the differentiator between what we're trying to do here and what most companies say have already done or put in place, in my opinion.
Yeah,
no, I agree.
It'd be really nice to understand the dynamic and how you feel that has then helped you be so successful with your clients, obviously the network that you've built with talent. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, for me now, it's so easy to work with these guys. And I think it all started from Hemi, obviously, because at the beginning I was the first to join him, and he established that kind of collaboration that is very rare in a team, I would say. It was very open communication, no misunderstandings, and then, of course, we are all from so different backgrounds and, nationalities, if you wish, like just cultures. But we managed to kind of, get on the same page. I think the way our team worked well is that we learned how to listen to each other and just play to our strengths, really. At the beginning, of course, especially with COVID, it was challenging because we were sitting next to each other every day, and it was easy to jump on and, do stuff together. But I think that time allowed us to kind of become even more close, if that makes sense. I don't know, because we knew exactly what we are doing, what our role in the team, and how we can, bring the best results. And I think collaboration, probably the really close collaboration, is the one factor I find so inspiring, really, because there are lots of teams with a lot of people that miss the point, I think, but not in our team. I'm happy to say that we are always there for each other, helping with wherever we can.
Definitely. I think for me, I knew my place within the ecosystem very early. So what I mean by that is I knew that in the UK, we had a lot of competition. And I know with MA, it was all about organic growth. They were a company that wanted to grow, but they obviously wanted to be careful. Who is this guy walking in talking about Salesforce? And as David said, pitching all these elaborate figures, which in his eyes may or not have been true at that time. But for me, I believed because we had seen those results. So I think for me, even though recruitment is an individual sport, I think it's such a team game. And I think recruiters get a lot of bad stick. And I think for me, we just wanted to be honest, and we wanted to have a tailored, bespoke service to our customers and our candidates that was personable, authentic, real, and show who we were as people. I think, it's easy in business and in life to be someone else or to try and replicate other companies. But I think MA and we have shown that you can be yourself. You can be yourself, be good to people. And it's all about the network that you have as well. I think Salesforce is a great ecosystem to develop friendships, networks, link with people that you never would really meet in a day-to-day world. So I think the collaboration was always there. I think the team ethos was always there. And it's an extension of probably what MA's values are as well, and what they want to be perceived as in the market, I suppose.
Yeah, and Mal, I guess I'd like to go to you on this one, and in terms of if you could sort of pinpoint the one thing, how would you describe your team different to any other team out there within Salesforce recruitment?
Yeah, I have a pretty good idea of many other teams at different companies of what their Salesforce practice looks like. But
don't say anything too bad now. Don't say anything too bad.
No. It's all good. But what I would say, I mean, from us, and this is kind of echoing Alice, is diversity piece. Like, everybody comes from such a different background, and when we talk about each individual case, whether it's about a candidate, about a client, about a go-to-market strategy, whatever it is, when you put 3 now, 5, sometimes even more, depending on the collaboration we're doing with some of the other like Salesforce teams across our other markets, everyone kind of putting their heads together and giving input, outlining things that maybe I wouldn't have seen, or Hemi wouldn't have seen, or Alice wouldn't have seen, because everybody has a different background, and that together brings a lot of diversity to literally each move we make. Sometimes each conversation that we have with somebody, right? Getting advice from each other and deciding on what's the best way for them, what's the best way for the team, all of these things. This piece of diversity is something that I would say happened pretty organically, right? Just looking for the best people that we could for the team, everybody coming together. But that difference in thinking, to me, is what's really different between us and probably a lot of other teams out there at the end of the day. And partly because we've been able to, or at least, management and David has enabled us to work from wherever we are, take people from wherever they are in the world, right? We had somebody join our team literally from Southeast Asia, as an example, right? So the breadth of experience throughout the world that we've been able to focus on our, small focus team is quite incredible, literally. Like, without that, I honestly don't think that we would have achieved what we did. Like, if we took 5 me's from Toronto, or took 5 Hemis from UK, or 5 Alice's from
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think we would have gotten to where we were without the mix of everything, as an example to me. So
we gotta give MA props for that, because I think that joining an office like Barcelona now, and David, you might see this in London more now, that you're around so many different nationalities, different teams, and you learn different ways of working. And I think not having, look, I mean, it is true, right? More diversity within teams provides better results, and you find more solutions. So I think for me, like Mal said, you have 3 brains coming together who totally think different to everyone else. And it helps find solutions for our customers and our candidates, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, and making sure that the ones who join you add up to that.
Yeah, and they understand my Mancunian accent. I know Alice at the beginning struggled with some of the terminologies, some of the phrases, but I think she's fully British now.
I think it would be nice to hear, seeing as we're talking about the growth of the team, what the best highlights have been so far.
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's been a few. From a team perspective, we'll talk about the team highlight. I think team highlight for me is just seeing these guys grow. I think when you bring in, I know, yeah, so cliche. But no, I know. But seriously, I mean, I think when you see people like Alice and Mal coming from different countries, Mal flying out from Toronto, coming to Barcelona, risking everything and going into Salesforce and really immersing themselves into it. It's not a type of market or ecosystem that you can just do a little bit of. You've really got to be involved with it, and you've really got to be passionate about it. So I think for me, the growth of the team definitely is the biggest highlight. Individually, I would say finally getting the chance to be a recruitment partner of Salesforce themselves, definitely an aspiration that we had for years, and it finally came to fruition. And hopefully that will be a great partnership for many years to come for us and MA.
Yeah, massive achievement there.
Huge. But I know Mal, you've got a few. I think Mal's had an amazing year. He's helped some amazing candidates.
And
Mal,
probably
there's
at like
quite...
one in the morning as well, probably. I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, even aside from all like the actual placements that we've done, to me, a big highlight was in probably about March, when things were appearing to go quite south for many economies right around the world. We had a few conversations where honestly, like, we weren't really sure what our plan was going to be. Like, there was a lot of uncertainty even within the team, like who was going to do what, how are we going to get even to the next month, as an example. Like, so many things that like we literally just didn't know. And again, it was some of it was trial and error for sure. Some of it had to do with good planning, a bit of a mix of both. But if you look back at like the conversations we were having in March with the mindset that we had at the time, and then where we got to, say, even as late as the beginning of Q4, the dynamic between us changed so much. And that in itself to me was like a big highlight, because it's almost as if now that when I talk to Alice, like, she knows what I'm thinking, and I can almost know what she's thinking in a way about something specific. Like, we don't even have to explain it. We don't even have to say it. It's like we're very aligned in, like, whether it's about a specific candidate, whether it's about a customer, there's a lot less of that, initial discussion that needs to be had, even with Hemi as well, for sure. But across the board, I think like that, the way that we've sort of been able to align on our approach overall has kind of helped everybody find their place on the team. And it's all kind of like an equal playing field. Some of us are good at some things, some of us are better at others. It is what it is. But that to me was probably like the biggest highlight as far as the growth of the team. Cause like any team can do placements, any team can make deals, any team can sign customers for sure. But that synergy, super rare, super hard to find, and the recipe to actually like make that, I don't exactly know how to quantify it. There are probably a few things that maybe contribute to getting to that point where you all know each other so well, but achieving it, when you do, whether you know how you got there or not, you know when you found it, and that to me is like probably the biggest highlight.
All the late nights, man. That's where the synergy came from, mate. All them late nights.
I actually don't know if late nights.
Early mornings.
In his case, more recently, yes, I was going to say early mornings.
Yeah.
One thing that I really enjoyed, to be honest, and it's something that I think lacks a lot in the recruitment world, is that consultative approach to everything we do. And the one thing we have in mind always, whether speaking to candidates or clients, is helping them out truly, right? Finding the solution, whatever it might be. And sometimes things are not that straightforward. Sometimes a client thinks they want something, but really they need something else. And this is where Mao or Hemi comes in and finds that problem for them, because identifying the problem is half the job, really. And then finding the solution as well. And when it comes to candidates or consultants, understanding them, putting yourself in their shoes, and preparing them for the whole experience with us, which a lot of colleagues of ours, I think they don't put that much effort in. And this is a feedback I've gotten from the people I work with always. And it's not about, praise or anything like that. I really, truly believe that when you care, good things happen. And also the other person feels it. So for me, that bit of the journey as a whole is a big highlight, because at the end of the day, we are in the business of people. And as Hemi always says, honesty is the best policy.
Hey.
And this is what we've been working at always, like, and it pays off. Both, in terms of that rapport with the people and the actual result at the end of the day, in terms of solutions.
David, what do you think of what's your highlight been so far from the outside in?
Yeah, of course. I'm the outsider here. I think the first thing is just it's been mentioned, but I think it's just the unity and the togetherness of this team. This year, as we all know, has been challenging. But what they've done, the results, is just the consequence of, their work and the relationship, the professional relationship they've established, and the fact that they went, as they said, probably with the remote working, they got to know one another even better. And it's apparently, we heard, it's made them even more efficient. And I think it's not a surprise to see that, it's one of our, top teams this year in terms of results. The results are just a consequence of their hard work, but also the fact that they work as a team. So I think, as the daddy or the grandpa, I don't know who you would call me, I would say keep it up and make sure that the people who join the team are part of that, and that they feel as included as everyone feels, in that original lineup, if you like. I think, if you carry on, and as you said, Hemi, I think, you said that that recruitment is an individual sport. Yeah. I can get it, yeah, because of even the pay structure for recruiters that we all know of. But I think that if you decide to play it as a sport, you can. It's just that you need to make sure you hire, if you want to play rugby, you need to hire the right profiles. You don't take golfers, so we don't hire golf players to make sure we can play a sports game, and it's possible. You have proven it. And as you know, we have a few other teams that are proving it. So as I said, Grandpa says keep it up and be inclusive with the new generation of Salesforce recruiters who join us this year.
I mean, I would have said, Dad, not Grandpa, but if you want to go with that.
Thank you. That's very
kind. You haven't gone grey yet. You're all right. But can I, seeing as you have had the final note, and you've obviously are proud of what the team have achieved, I'm going to drop a little bomb here and ask you, what would you like to see from the team in the next 5 years?
Well, if they can deliver half of what Hemi promised me 3 years ago, I'd be happy.
He still remembers every figure as well. He's like, I do.
I still have your email, because on the back of your interview, you emailed me.
Oh yeah.
So I have your 3 pages essay about the Salesforce marketplace. No, but I think more seriously, this team has laid fantastic foundations. That reminds me of what Hemi has done on SAP, and I think that they can take this offer as Hemi would like, globally. I think we have to be humble. We've been really successful this year, but we need to keep growing this organically. Not rush into it. What we've done this year is great. As you grow, sometimes you need to industrialize things a little bit. So it's good to do it slowly and not to rush into it, and to make sure that you keep adding diversity into your team, so that the challenges that one throws at another keep going, because it's been working well for you. So don't change that. Where I see the Salesforce teams, going in the next few years, I think it's very likely that it's one of our strongest verticals, just because of the marketplace and the strong foundations that this team has laid out. Have laid out. So I think this year it's not about putting figures at 5 years. That would be ridiculous. It's more about continue to grow our network, our reputation on the market, and to keep heading in the direction we've set, which is to be a global player, and to support our clients everywhere we can. If we do that, and if we do it well, with humility and honesty, as Hemi was saying, then we can retain our customers, and it's something that Hemi does well. So I have no doubt this team will do it too.
No pressure. No pressure.
And Salesforce team, I guess, guys, I'd love to hear what you have. What are the plans?
Oh, the ambition is there, trust me.
To still be here. To still be here. I mean, it's hard to say in COVID, right? COVID was a game changer from a business perspective, because like Mao and David said, what we planned, I suppose, when we were working in the office went totally out the window when COVID hit and Mao had to go back to Toronto, and we were working remotely and just onboarding people remotely. We recently hired, which I think was a great testament of our growth as a business and also as a team. To be able to hire in COVID when other companies were going through rough times, I think was great. And I think for me, continuing to just, like David said, being organic, but keeping our identity. I think we don't want to get lost in the hype. Salesforce is a fast-moving market. I think we've grown with our customers. If you look at Salesforce Industries, and the way that things were vertical specific, our team is now working like that. So I think we just need to continue to evolve, stay in the loop with trends, and continue to be good to our candidates and clients. I think, again, if we're good to them, I think they'll be good to us, and it will benefit future relations in the future.
Yeah, I think where we're headed within the next 5 years, obviously there are markets that we play in now that are our key markets, and there are markets that we have our eyes on that continue sort of to develop in the background. The more that we can expand, like our current product vertical being Salesforce recruitment services, right? The more we can expand that into each of the key markets that we have now and that we'd like to grow. But at the same time, as we said, keep interconnected with, a central point of the strategy to grow this vertical, to keep that consistent across all markets. So, if I have a colleague halfway across the world where we're working on, a company that might operate in both, you know what I mean? We'll be able to easily kind of work together to make sure that whoever we're servicing gets the best of both worlds, and that across the world, they're getting the service that they need. If it's a candidate who wants to move halfway across the world, Hemi or Alice is a call away who works on X market, who can be able to sort of help them there. In 5 years, I only just see kind of where we're at now, just at a point of maturity. That's what I can disclose publicly.
we keep the numbers for ourselves. They're ambitious.
And Alice, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think to keep all that together and the same way or even better in the future, adaptability is the key word. Things happen, we don't know that they're going to happen, and suddenly, everything changes. I think we've proven we've been able to adapt quickly to these circumstances, and I don't think COVID will be the only challenge going ahead. A lot of things will change, and people are generally opposed to change, right? They don't like it, but digital transformations are everywhere. There's no going away from them, and the best thing is to embrace them. I think being part of this team, I can see how that benefits everyone in a company and organization and globally. But the fact that we are open to explore these new opportunities and just be adapting to the new normal, to the new world, if you wish, is the main thing.
Yeah, and I certainly look forward to watching you guys see what you do for the 2021. It'll be exciting. It's been great to watch your journey so far and seen how much you've achieved in just 1 year, and not the easiest of years either. So thank you so much for joining today and letting us into the world of your team. It's been great to get to know you all a little bit better. And of course, thank you, David, for coming on and joining the team as well. It's been great to hear your side of the story. So yeah.